entrepreneurs, and professionals of Tampa Bay. Welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections for elevating your business. Welcome to Getting the Edge with Kelly Wilson. And here's your host, Kelly Wilson.
Welcome to Getting the Edge. I'm your host, Kelly Wilson. Thank you so much for being with us today. Edge is a product of Edge Business Magazine, and really excited every week to come here and bring on great, funny people. You're about to make me laugh, Jeff. Don't do it. It's just a great opportunity to bring on business owners and community leaders, entrepreneurs in our community, and we want to learn and talk about your products and services, but our passion is really to get to know our guests and to learn from their experiences. I am a big believer that we can all learn a lot from each other. We're all in this journey together. So if you would like more information about Edge, check out edgebusinessmagazine.com with all the information, all the latest issues. You can sign up for our newsletter. We have a brand new issue coming out later this month. Digitally, our launch will be next month. It is our first annual celebration of women featuring Mayor Jane Castor, and we're really excited about that. So you can subscribe online, and definitely you can sign up for our newsletter so you can keep track of when the event date's coming. And once we have so much going on. There are so many great people involved with Edge that are writing books and doing such great things, and I could spend the whole hour talking about all of that, but I don't have that much time. So definitely, again, that's a great reason to subscribe to our newsletter so that you can keep up to date with everything that so many great people have going on. So really excited to be here today. I have a good time, longtime friend, Jeff Harris, BeeKeeper of Hive Style. Hive is with us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. I remember, time goes so fast. 2014, I want to say. So Edge launched originally in late September, I think, of 2013, and we met shortly after that. And I helped you launch your Hive outdoor piece of it.
Yep.
Yeah, we had, that was a great party. We had a really good time, and it was a great way to introduce the outdoor piece, which we're going to learn all about today with Hive. Yes. And I can't believe that was so long ago now.
It's already been nearly 5 years. So,
yeah. Time just goes so fast. So you originally launched the company 2010, I think?
2010, yes.
Yeah.
We actually started technically in July of 2009, but literally opening everything was in 2010, January.
So it's almost been 10 years then.
Yes.
Yeah. So what made you come up? Tell us about Hive. What is Hive?
Sure. Hive is actually, we're a home automation company. We specialize in residential automation, everything from security cameras to literally, I say, controlling your entire home from an iPad. So whether it's thermostats, whether it's motorized shades, whether it's the audio video piece, any of that, we handle under the umbrella of our technology side of the business. And then we also have the other division, which is Hive Outdoor Living, which specializes in swimming pools and outdoor kitchens and everything to do with the outdoor.
Everything's like smart these days, right? I mean, we want our phones, our TVs, and now, I mean, you can literally, your entire house can be set up to work with all of these devices, right?
For sure, and I tell you, it's very confusing. The landscape of all the technology nowadays is very confusing. You know, you have the Rings, the Nest, the Amazon Alexa. We have all these different devices, and they spend millions and millions of dollars marketing to them each month, and a lot of times clients have no clue. You know, they'll have an Apple device in their hand, but they'll have an Android device connected to their TV, and they don't even know why, but you know, that's what their nephew or their son told them to buy. So we help our clients just educate them on what technologies are available, and our main focus is how we can simplify their life and enhance the lifestyle and the security for the client.
Yeah, and I guess it's all about simplification. Yeah, is that a word? I think if it's not, it is now. But yeah, you make everything so simple. By a touch of this or that, you can.
Yeah, I literally changed the tagline of our company. Excuse me, about 5 years ago. We literally went to technology made simple, because every client would be like, "Oh, Jeff, it sounds so good. That sounds great, but is it simple?" And the one thing I started to focus on is how can we help simplify? It used to be blending technology with your environment. But I literally changed the tagline for Hive to technology made simple, because that's what clients want. They want to be able to go to one app, open it up, and control the lights and the shades and the TV and the music, everything in one place. It used to be 10 remotes on the coffee table.
Right.
Now we traded that in for 10 apps on a smartphone. Nothing works together. We got 10 different apps that all look and feel differently. And it's still, the guy's thing. And 95% of my referrals come from the lady of the house. It's their girlfriend comes over and she presses one button, the shades go up and the music comes. She's like, "What? Call Jeff. Call Jeff at Hive." So that's what happens. So.
That's just, I just visualize that. That would be pretty cool. I think I need that.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, man, no, it sounds amazing. So then what made you I guess the outdoor piece goes with the inside piece of it. So did you always know you were going to launch the outdoor as well?
No, not at all. A dear friend of mine, Robert Foster, his family's been here in the pool industry in Tampa for 40 plus years. Him and I were having lunch, and he was discussing, working for his dad for a long period of time and wanting to do something creative on his own. And it was born here at Oxford Exchange. It was born the idea, and I said, "Listen, you know how many builders I know in this town?" And we went and talked to a couple builders and told them about our vision, because truly, I was handling every other entertainment area in the home. I was doing all the outdoor entertainment. I was doing the music outside. I was doing speakers underwater in the pools. I was doing the televisions on the back lanai, and we were doing it. The only thing I wasn't doing was physically building the pool. So Robert and I, it was just a natural, synergy, and for our builder, it was just one phone call. And now the clients love it because the fact that they get to deal with one company that literally, from everything to do with the technology inside the home and linking that technology, even the swimming pool. So now we put that swimming pool on the app and do that as well.
I didn't realize you actually did the pools.
Yeah, we physically construct the swimming pools. Robert's a licensed pool contractor, and Ben Kelver is the lead designer, one of the partners of the business, and he does a phenomenal job with design. We do a full 3D rendering, put the client in Oculus glasses so they can literally see what the space is going to look like. And, people that are not in the construction industry, right, they can't normally visualize. So it's really nice to be able to give the client and be able to change it right there on the fly. And between Robert's construction background and just, phenomenal product that we've done, and Ben's design, it's been a winning combination for us.
I can only imagine how, having spent over a decade in real estate, in my former life, it's amazing. I remember showing homes and people walking through, and if there needed a lot of work to be done, many cannot visualize, what that would look like. So having the technology that you do today, being able to put some options together so that people can actually visually see what you're seeing.
Sure. And we do a lot of work with architects, designers, decorators, and realtors. Exactly what you just said. A client says, "Well, Kelly, I want to buy that house, but I can't imagine it with the pool in the background." So a lot of the times we literally do that for the realtor. And again, the decorators, designers, and the builders, they come to us. We render the entire home. We render the entire outdoor living space, and then put a price tag on it so the client knows, hey, for X amount of dollars, we can put this package on this home. So we don't have to leave it up to their imagination.
Right, wow. So why Hive?
Why Hive? I get asked that often. So
I bet you do.
The truth be told is a buddy of mine, my very best friend since my childhood friend, owns a marketing company in New York. And I was talking with him one day, and I said, "Man, I want something unique. I want something different. I don't want to be, Tampa Bay Home Theater or some, generic name. I want to do something outside the box." I said, "Look at Amazon. Amazon doesn't say online bookstore. I want something one syllable. I want something simple." And I was like, "What do you think?" And he's like, "Well, Jeff, I'm not instantly creative. You have to give me a minute here." And he went back. He's from Rochester, New York, and he called me up in about a week, and he's like, "Jeff, I was just talking to my cousin, Chris, and she said, Hive, it's where a bee lives, it's where a bee works." And I said, "As long as I can be the beekeeper." And literally that was the inspiration of it. And then we've just played with it since. And the employees in my organization, we have everything from the queen bee to the worker bees to the killer bees. And we've just had a lot of fun with it. And, it's something that's memorable. I've had clients call me up and be like, "Jeff, I just saw your business card, started laughing, thought I'd call you." So, it does what it was designed to do, which is to, be creative and also stick in people's memories. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. As I was planning and sending in the information I needed to prepare for the show, I always ask for titles, professional titles. And when I looked at yours and you see BeeKeeper, I laughed. It's kind of funny. And I was going to reach out and say, "Is this really what you want me to put?" And I thought, no, of course it is. I'm going to go with it. So Yeah, I think it's great. And
Well, I just get such a kick out of it. I mean, you know, there's a lot of presidents, there's a lot of CEOs, there's not too many guys that have BeeKeeper on their business card and proudly display it. So many times clients say, oh, bookkeeper, oh, the BeeKeeper, so they get it. But
I think too, when people meet you and your personality, then it just fits and they get it. I think it's perfect.
Well, thank you. I guess I'll take that as a compliment.
It definitely was meant to be a compliment for sure. It's funny, you know, living around the South Tampa area, I see your trucks a lot. And I'm always, you know, of course, proud of, like, you know, go Jeff. That's pretty cool. So, no, I do. I see him out around.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
Thank you very much. I mean, we have about 12 different vehicles for the company that are out. And
I'm sure you don't just do the South Tampa area. I'm sure you're all over.
We're the whole Tampa Bay area. Yeah. So we do have, you know, a high concentration of our clients are, you know, our office is on Willow, so a high concentration are in the South Tampa area, but we do the entire Tampa Bay area, basically about a 60-mile radius of Tampa.
Yeah. So why tech? Like, why technology made simple? Like, what made you want to create this business?
Well, I actually came out of the satellite industry. I was one of the largest, my cousin and I actually owned a satellite business, and we were one of the largest DirecTV and Dish Network dealers in the world. And I sold that company back in 2005. And, you know, I saw, you know, several of the builders that I had formerly worked with, you know, there was a need, you know, they had this pre-wiring, and it was like, it used to be every room got wired from room to room to room, and then it was like all of a sudden now we have satellite TV that needed a dedicated line. Then we had, you know, for the first time ever, people wanted wireless internet and computers in their house, right? Well, again, 15 years ago, when it was the inception of this, there really wasn't. Everybody had walking around with smartphones and smart tablets and smart TVs and smart refrigerators, and, you know, the Wi-Fi and the bandwidth just wasn't there. I mean, we had dial-up internet. But nowadays, it's like everybody wants this. So it's only growing. It's the largest growth segment in the construction industry right now.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, and technology is continuously changing. So I guess, you know, you're having to stay on top of things as well, and looking at future trends and how it, and I guess you can get a lot of feedback from your clients and as far as what they're looking for and what they want. And
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, oh, goodness, so much to find out and pick Jeff's brain about. Stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Jeff Harris.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Getting the Edge. I'm your host, Kelly Wilson. Thank you so much for being with us today. Joined with my great friend, Jeff Harris. Thank you for being with us. Learning all about Hive and his business. For more information, definitely check out his website. And if you're looking to have your home and pool smart, like everything else that we have in our world, definitely reach out to Hive. Highly recommend them. If you're looking for your own, before we get started back with Jeff, if you're interested in having your own show, if you're looking to have a voice and be able to provide inspiration or just kind of doing your part in the community, reach out to Tampa Bay Multimedia. They've got a great new studio in the Tampa Bay area, and it's just a great opportunity to come and have a voice and promote your products and services and have your own show. So many people have podcasts these days. I mean, this gives you a great opportunity to really be visual and have your own show. And I think it's even better to show off personalities and to bring people like Jeff on that have these great personalities that is great to have on. So anyway, check out TampaBayMultimedia.com for more information. Again, highly recommend John Gaston. So anyway, we're going to get back with Jeff Harris. Again, thank you for being with us today. And it's interesting learning all about Hive. I can't believe it's been almost 10 years that you've launched the business. And you've learned, I'm sure, so much within that 10 years, and I want to get into that and kind of just advice that you can provide to us and people watching on tips that you can provide. But let's talk, where did you grow up originally? Where are you originally from?
I'm actually from just south of Buffalo, New York. I'm from a small town called Springville, New York, 30 miles south of Buffalo.
Maybe that's where your sarcasm comes from. But it's fun.
That could very well be.
Yeah.
We learned that there in Buffalo.
How long have you been in the Tampa area?
Actually, for nearly 30 years now.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So did you go to school? What brought you to Tampa here? Like, how did you end up here?
Actually, my mother and my stepfather moved to Tampa when I was 16. So I moved down to Tampa, and then I went back to college in upstate New York.
Okay.
And then I realized, what am I doing up there? Right. Apparently, my parents didn't have the Weather Channel when I was a kid. So I turned around and moved right back to Tampa and have not left since. I went for one business opportunity, actually to Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's where I got introduced to the satellite industry. And I was selling those huge 10-foot C-band satellite dishes, and that's where I started in the technology industry.
It's funny, I think we all have that experience where we moved down with our family, and then we're like, wait a minute, but everybody was up there, maybe I should go back. And then I went through the same thing, and then you were like, nope, what was I doing? What was I thinking?
Yeah.
Let me go back south.
Yeah, I made it for one winter. I went back there for one winter, and about halfway through the winter, I was like, this was not a smart idea.
Right. My parents knew what they were doing. Let me just, we didn't admit that too often. So then you said that, so that's kind of what brought you or got you into the technology?
Yes.
Like focused.
Yeah.
And then, so
I literally started selling satellites. I got a job opportunity, and I was literally knocking doors, selling satellites door to door. And between that and working in a restaurant, was some of the best sales training I ever had. Was literally door-to-door sales and working in a restaurant and upselling clients, and immediately needing to gain confidence and meeting clients, and everybody's different, and it's a very unique skill to be able to pick that up with clients in just seconds, right? And you have that kind of that first impression at a table being a waiter, and I just think it's a wonderful experience for any young person, even that wants to entertain sales and build their confidence. It's a heck of a way to do it.
No, I totally agree. It is, and again, I think it's interesting. A lot of times we don't realize what we're doing, and we don't realize that we're setting ourselves up, to learn all these skills. I mean, at that point, we just think, it's a job.
I need some money.
Right, it's a job, and I don't think we realize. But I think people that have those type of personalities, you do well in the restaurant business when you're, well, I guess maybe when you're older too, but I mean, when we're younger, that's kind of when our focus is.
Listen, I felt like it was the training ground, right? Again, instant responses and meeting people and getting to know them, and you have to do that very quickly and not
dealing with conflict too. I mean, not everything is smooth. I mean, you're learning how to handle problems and difficult people, maybe,
and
and
all
do it
kinds well. You have juggling 3 or 4 tables, and and orders coming out and drinks to refill. There's a lot of problem solving on the fly.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I say that often. Sometimes I think that'd be easier to be a waiter nowadays than a business owner, but I've had so much fun doing what I've been doing.
Yeah. I mean, it is really physical labor, though. Like when you look back, I mean, it's a tough world. But it's it's interesting too. I think even from the cash standpoint, where you're given a lot of the times, I mean, you have to manage, there's just a lot of tools, I guess, that you kind of take away from.
That was one of the things. I actually talk about managed money. I literally would leave my restaurant and I would have my little deposit envelopes in my car because I knew if I kept the cash on me, it would be blown by the next day.
Right.
So I would have to deposit it every single night. Only leave myself a small little amount for gas and food for the next day.
Okay, so that had to have been, somebody provided that information for you. Was that like your mom and
yeah,
dad?
definitely my mom. And it's so funny in my adult life how differently I realized, but some of those principles, and my mom was that always save for a rainy day, and it was just a few weeks back, and it was not meant to be disrespectful at all, and I feel like it came across a little harsh, but I was like, Mom, I have no desire to live in a gated community and golf 5 days a week and, have this mediocre life. I literally want to swing for the fences every day, and at least I'm going to get up and swing every day. And I would rather strike out, but know that I gave it my best and swang for it. And I told her, I said, I'm going to be extremely wealthy. I'm going to help a lot of people, and that's my desire. And I want to change the world. I don't want to save every little penny I make to have just enough to survive, so I can live X amount of years in mediocrity, to golf and go on one vacation for a month a year. That's literally not my idea of fun. That's kind of that scarcity mentality. And I've been working diligently. There's a gentleman by the name of Grant Cardone. He's a motivational speaker, as well as he's a major serial entrepreneur, incredibly successful. And I've put my entire company on that training, 15 minutes a day every morning at 7:30. My entire staff comes in and begins that training. And I've literally subscribed, believe it or not. About 4 weeks ago, I began the program. I literally get up every morning at 4 a.m. And it's the difference maker. It's like those magical hours that, you don't have any influence, nobody, hey Jeff, nobody trying to bide for my attention, that we're able to get so much accomplished. And I took some key leadership in my team, one being my wife, one being my son, and we went down to the training program in Miami, and then we came back and implemented it into our company. And we've seen an amazing transformation within the company culture. And one of the things I know is if your people that work for you have money problems, you have money problems. And what I want is I want a bunch of people that have amazing opportunities that work for my company that we can expand, we can help them personally and professionally, and just, literally put no limits on them, right? I want people, if they want to run a location, if they want to be the best technician, if they want to be the best salesperson, we want to put them in a position where they can succeed. So that's
and that's going to make them want to succeed and want to help your organization succeed, especially when it's almost like some ownership in it. They kind of are living up and just playing their part, and it's not just a job to them.
Yeah, for sure. And we really, we legitimately, I had probably one of the greatest compliments I could have been given. One of the industry leading sales personnel and a manufacturer's representative, he represents two major brands, Sony and Klipsch speakers, was in my office. The gentleman's name's Brett Carusa. And he said, Jeff, in 25 years of being in this industry, I've never seen a company meeting that had that much energy and was that, exciting in 25 years doing this. And this gentleman's been in hundreds, if not thousands, of offices like mine. And that, you can't have a greater compliment for the people.
Absolutely.
Because, listen, at the end of the day, I could sell Sony TVs, I could sell, Samsung TVs. Who cares about the products? It's truly the people and the service that's being delivered behind it, and how much the people truly care. And, we want to make a difference in the community too. It's not about, I share this with my folks all the time. It's not about driving a nice car and building a bigger house and more boats and more money. It's literally how many people did we impact and affect, on planet Earth.
Right. Well, and it's amazing to see just the impact that you have had, the growth that you've had, and it's amazing that, that's just how society has changed. That's how our generation, I think, as we've come up, we're not like our mom and dads. We don't want what our mom and dads like. And I think what is even better is that it's okay for us to say that, and we're supported with hesitation a lot of time, because I just don't think our parents or those before us understood or understand kind of our mentality of why we want what we want. And why do we want to help people? And why do we want to have this work? Why? You know, that's the answer my mom's passed now, but I got often. Why? You know, and she just never got it. But that's, you know, it was just a different time.
Sure.
So and I think that's going forward. I'd like to hope that a lot of people can at least society, family will be more, I guess, you know, encouraging because maybe we provide proof that they can make it.
Yeah,
you know, and
sure.
not just us. There's so many great people, even before us, you know, that have kind of led the way for us to be able to do it as well.
Sure. I mean, it's so true. And I mean, yeah, money and happiness and all that, we hear all the cliches, but the reality is, you know, anybody that says money doesn't buy happiness is usually somebody that doesn't have money.
Right.
And it truly doesn't buy happiness, but it certainly allows you the ability to impact and influence, you know, and help, right? And it's not necessarily using, so often we see people that have used money for destructive purposes. And when you use that energy for positive purposes, and you know, listen, at the end of the day, it truly is, in my universe, it's the greatest satisfaction to truly be able to help another family or help my employees or, you know, just help the community because, you know, there's so much more, it's so much more fun. It's so much more gratifying than, you know, what can I buy and be just a glutton and a consumer. And I think some people just have to come to that realization themselves, and there's some people that never do. And there's also some people that I've realized that being just mediocre is okay, and literally they'll do it as a friend and they'll do it in the disguise of help that are really the ones pulling you back. Mm-hmm. So I really evaluate the people that I hang around, and you know, when I tell them that, you know, I'm striving for this goal, if they don't totally support me and root for me, I realize just put a little check next to them. Okay, cool. You know, those people are definitely probably trying to hold me back more than they're trying to get me towards my goals. Because anybody that's truly my friend, if I tell them my goal, they're like, wow, you know, they're
right.
excited to help me achieve that. So I evaluate the people that I keep around me very closely.
Yeah, I just think you have to. So, all right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back more with Jeff Harris. Don't go far.
Thanks.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Welcome back to Getting the Edge. I'm your host, Kelly Wilson. Thank you for being with us today. We've had a great inspirational time with Jeff Harris today, and if you've missed any part of it, make sure you check it out from the beginning. You know, it's having known you for quite a few years now, and I remember, well, I think you were a few years in with Hive, but it's just we talked about these things that you wanted to implement and how you wanted your business to be and the people that work for you, and it's amazing to see you now all these years later, and the fact and you having now implemented a lot of these systems into the business. It's great to see, and I think it's leaders are. I have the opportunity to interview a lot of amazing people, and one of the things that I always ask is just leadership styles, and we talk about characteristics that good leaders should have, and empathy and compassion is one 98% of the time that I hear, and you embody that, and I just think people are, yeah, for sure. I think people are very lucky, to have the opportunity to learn and work with you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Listen, I've done it all the wrong way. So.
Well, then I want to talk a little bit about that too. It's again, really being a business owner is all trial and error, right? I mean, there's no book that's handed to us that says this is the way that you're supposed to do this. Follow these steps. I mean, if I guess certain franchises or certain things may come with that, but even still, it's not that easy.
No, I totally agree with you, and especially small business.
Right.
There's definitely no playbook, and it's so funny. I shared this with my staff probably less than a month ago. I was raised in a way that, for example, you were told to take out the garbage, right? I wasn't requested, and hey Jeff, when you finish that video game you're playing, let me know when you're ready,
right.
And then please take the garbage out. It was take the garbage out, right? And then if you didn't take the garbage out, there was pretty much an immediate consequence involved not taking the garbage out. And I realized that, little unbeknownst to myself, that was my leadership skill very early on. And it was more of a demanding you did something. And then I was like, why aren't these people reacting to doing what I told them to do when I told them to do it? If we'd be successful, they would just listen to me and do it exactly the way I said it when I said it. And I realized very quickly that does not work with people.
Right.
And I also realized very quickly putting your attention on anything negative, right? I think the most successful thing that I've learned as a leader is to be able to start to put my attention on what I want, and then telling people what I want, and then rewarding the people that are doing and hitting the targets of what we want and where our focus is and what is the ideal scene and what we're trying to achieve. Instead of putting so much attention on the negativity and what they're not doing
right.
and how they're not doing it right and what they should be doing better, I find out we map it out, we get it well organized, say here's exactly what the target is, here's exactly what we're looking for you to do, and then when somebody hits that or meets that target, we reward them very well for it. And then you'll see that other people will either come along or some people just, I've figured this out as well, it's a truly compassionate thing to do to let someone go. Because letting someone go, they might be successful at something else and you're keeping them in a position that they're just not going to succeed.
Right.
So I've learned to put targets out there and you truly reward what you're looking for, and you ignore and or bring heavy discipline and correction on what you don't want, or just get rid of the individual because they'll hold you back. And before I was like, oh my God, we need that guy, we can't live without him, oh my God, if he leaves. And then the minute we got rid of him, our statistics went up. So I found it to be a very interesting phenomenon to not hold on to people that potentially are holding you back.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of there's a quote or something like with that, right? Hire slow, fire fast, or however that goes.
Very, very, very true.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I think so many people, and I'd like to think our hours through Getting the Edge is just an inspirational time where it's just positivity. There's so much negative, and I think, again, it goes back to the TV, and if you watch too much of it, it's so negative. I mean, it's really hard to be in a positive world or to be positive. You have to figure out a way to eliminate it.
Well, I'll tell you something.
Shows like focus on that.
Shows like The Edge and things. I will say this: there's a lot of really, really beautiful stuff that happens in this world every day, right? And I find that the media, gets the most response out of the negativity. And I think that's what they really focus on. And yes, it's like anything else. We constantly hear, scarcity, the economy's up, it's down, the leader's great, the leader's the worst. Everybody's combating, but it's all negativity. And the reality is, I think that's just what they're focused on.
Yeah.
That's what maybe sells the papers and sells the ratings, but at the end of the day, I really think that it's a beautiful thing to have people out there that are truly concentrating. It's funny, I was having this conversation less than a week ago with my son. I was like, I wonder if you put a news show on that was nothing but filled with positive, beautiful, uplifting things that people were doing in the world and in their communities and at their homes, would people ever watch it? Right? It's because we're so trained to have all this reality TV, and it's all the gossip, and it's all the negativity, and it's all the that side of life that I think,
right.
Is what sells the ratings. But I definitely know that that's not.
Super Soul Sunday is on Oprah's
okay.
channel. She's been, I remember 10 years ago, I think, when that first started, but literally it's a day where on a Sunday too, and I DVR a lot of it, but because it's so inspirational and so many of the people that she brings on to talk to, it's all positivity, and these people are doing amazing things, and they touch all these lives, and again, so it's some great stories for sure.
I got a beautiful opportunity yesterday. Dr. Kiran Patel, I've been working on his home and on his project here for the last several years, and he invited me personally to go to his grand opening of his school yesterday, and I was in attendance there. And he paid tribute. 20 years ago, his father and him opened a school and an orphanage in India. And this man has donated over $250 million. It's a lot of money, but the time and the education and to be in that presence and listening to that story yesterday, to a guy that came from such humble beginnings in Zambia that literally did not have the ability to go to school. And there was no Indian children. Even when he went and got to Europe, there were European kids that had school and black kids that had school, but no Indian kids. And he was finally able to go 90 miles from his home and actually to a boarding school where he was able to attend school. So he talks about education. So, there's so much focus on, I can't do it because of this, and I'm not born to the right parents in the right neighborhood and this and that. So to see just such an inspiration and what he does for the Tampa Bay community was just phenomenal to be a part of it, just a very small part of it.
Yeah.
Just the fact that he invited me, I was honored. So it was just a beautiful thing. So if I concentrate and put my attention on that stuff all day, I don't listen to the radio, I don't watch television. Really primarily for this reason. And it's funny you mention that. I do occasionally DVR like something inspirational or fun, like America's Got Talent or something that I want to watch that's uplifting.
And you want to laugh, right?
And I want to laugh, but I definitely I don't watch the news. I don't read the newspaper, and some people can think that's quite ignorant, and I don't know the daily times, but I don't want to be consumed with the negativity.
Right. I think we have to be very careful of what we allow in, and keep our space. It's like a safe zone. I'm very careful with the energy that I allow around me, and I think that is part of whether it's Edge Business Magazine or whether it's our newsletters or whether it's here Getting the Edge. All of our messages are positive, and we're sharing stories of like you being here today, just of good people that have a message, and we can all learn so much from each other. So, and I'm hopeful that we offer, or that we can provide something at every spectrum. Whether we're really excited to be a partner with USF Luma College of Business, and that's amazing. So for the young people, and then from higher level CEOs or beekeepers, I hope we can just share some positive messages.
No, and listen, it is our children. My son's now working in my company, and to see him, and blossom, with an opportunity, and
he has a great influence, for sure.
And I certainly have not always been a great influence, and I feel like I always learn so much more from my mistakes in life,
Absolutely.
When you're getting the pats on the back and the accolades, it's all wonderful,
right.
But where were those same people when it was the
right.
tough times, So I definitely
sure.
in life and running a business, which listen, I was taught, my father was an entrepreneur, my stepfather was an entrepreneur, my grandfather was an entrepreneur. It was like, you own the cash register. I didn't know why, but I was raised, you own the cash register, and I was like, you own all the headaches of this deal too,
right,
So,
sure, yeah.
But I do love, nothing more I could say, being an entrepreneur and literally being able to set my own targets and my own goals, and then feeling the ability to go attain them, I'll tell you this, I have a super simple business philosophy that I give to every person that walks through our door. As long as we can do it honestly and ethically, we'll do it. I lay my head easy on the pillow because I know that we can do a great job. And you know what? If we make a mistake, which we do, and we do often, we're going to just make it right. And literally, it's my slogan, just Hive makes it right. At the end of the day, we've made wrong recommendations, we've had accidents that have happened, you name it, in the construction industry.
As every business will.
As every business.
Right.
But the reality is we want to exchange in a fashion with our clients that they feel very, very well served. And I'm in the construction business, so even the appearance of our employees, all in uniform and all going into your home, we want to make that client know that there's something special about us. There's something different than, we're not just there to get your money. And I know, I'm sure the naysayers, but the reality to me is money is probably one of the least important things to me. Supplying opportunities and truly being able to help others, even help my clients, right? Truly is what we do is we're a solution to a problem, right?
Right.
Well, what's your problem? Your problem is, you need a security system. Problem is the car got broken into, we need cameras, whatever. Problem is we don't have nice music throughout the house to entertain our guests. Like, whatever that problem is, we just want to be able there to solve that problem. And, in my business, we're not saving lives, man. We have a pretty,
So you provide solutions.
We provide solutions, but at the
and
end
you
of the day,
create happiness.
Sure.
Happiness is a choice, I guess, in everyone's life, but you help provide.
We're trying to enhance clients, security. We're trying to enhance their entertainment to their home, and that's what our goal is to do. But at the end of the day, we want to take that energy and those resources and really do something meaningful with it.
Well, and I think you have to have all those components together to really be successful and grow, and that's really what you've done. So we're going to find out even more. We'll be back. Don't go far. More with Jeff Harris. We'll be back.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Welcome back to Getting the Edge. I'm your host, Kelly Wilson. Thank you so much for being with us today. Super excited to have Jeff Harris, longtime friend of Edge and mine on the show. And what a great inspiration you've been. I think you're a great example of what a leader, should be, and that, is showing and having compassion and empathy. And it's not just about you rising to the top. It's about you taking everybody with you, so thank you for doing that.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Make sure you check out edgebusinessmagazine.com for all the latest on what's going on with Edge Business Magazine and Getting the Edge shows. You can check out all the previous shows on the website, Getting the Edge. I don't know how many we have now. Getting the Edge, we initially started the radio program 4 years ago, and it was a radio program. We've been happy to transition that now into this filmed production. And again, if you're looking for to have your own show or an outlet for some of your products and services, make sure you reach out to TampaBayMultimedia.com. So again, and subscribe to the newsletter. I'm so excited about our new magazine issue that's coming out. It's our first annual celebration of women, featuring Mayor Jane Castor and 9 other amazing women that are on the cover. It's so crazy to have 10 people on the front cover, and the whole design of this is it's been challenging, but so much fun. We're really excited to announce the other 9 women included. And then there are just Santiago Corrado, which is CEO of Visit Tampa Bay, is one of our contributing writers, and just a lot of great people that are that have written great articles that are a little not as normal as some of the other editorial. It's a lot of it focused on just women in business and a lot of rock stars. So again, super excited about that. The launch party will be early September. We'll be announcing that soon. So check out, again, the newsletter will give you all that information. So, wow. So I'm going to utilize and pick your brain while I like this last segment that I have you. So, we talked a lot about building a team and a staff, and you've given great advice on hire slow, fire fast, and even just being the best leader that we can be. But what are just some simple tips on building a team and bringing that team together?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of it is trial and error, right? And one of the things that I've done myself is continued to train and develop my own leadership skills, and through reading and coaching and investing in myself. The number one thing that I've found to be the most successful action that I've done in my life is continue to invest in my own education. And because I know that my employees today have a better leader because I'm working at being a better leader. Because at times I've been a pretty lousy leader, and I started off early on, kind of that old dictatorship, and they're going to do it my way or the highway, and that definitely does not work. So I guess there's my tip. Don't lead people by force. People have to have their own self-determinism. They have to be able to go and freely do what they want to do. And yes, can you guide them, and can you set targets, and can you set parameters to achieve that, and then can you reward people that do a wonderful job? And that's what builds an economy. People doing wonderful jobs and getting compensated to do wonderful, honest, ethical work is what grows an economy. Work should not be a scary bad word, and it shouldn't be the goal of any human being. I think the greatest thing that builds morale is production. I don't think you get morale and lazy sitting at home collecting a check. I don't think that builds morale. And
well, I think one of the takeaways too from listening to you is that don't just expect everyone else around you to change. You be the change also.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what I'm taking kind of from what you're saying. And I think that's great advice. That's a great takeaway.
Well, yeah, and it's amazing. It's amazing. The harder I work in my own development myself personally, it's amazing to see, the transformation of the group. And, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. And it's tough. It's tough every day. It's tough as an entrepreneur to get yourself up and motivate yourself on a daily basis when, it seems like some days you you got knocked down, you got knocked down again, you got knocked down. There's a lot of perseverance that goes with that.
Yeah,
and then,
absolutely.
of course, because you're the owner of the company, they all think you're, wealthy. They all think, you've got it all, and you don't share in any of their problems. And it's being relatable to your employees. And I'm very, very transparent. I'm transparent with the finances of the company. I'm transparent with what every dollar goes towards in our business, so they can see that they have a direct impact. We talked about it today, about it's not just delivering this end incredible product to a customer. It's internally delivering a great product. Whether you're a sales guy and you have to write up the order properly and give that to the finance department, or it's the finance department that has to make sure that it's properly billed, and then they have to order it from the inventory, and inventory goes to production. Each one of those
provides
things
that experience too.
But so often I think we focus on the end game. We don't focus on that internal process that makes it smooth, and it's that internal process that has people bought in, right? And that's where they're buying in together collectively. That's where I feel you get the most out of employees. I think you get most out of your team, and also setting targets high. There's nothing wrong with pushing. There's nothing wrong with setting high targets and going after target attainment. Set the bar low, make it mediocre. I will admit, probably one of the things that I would do differently if I could go back, 10, 20 years, I would not be as reasonable as I've been in the past. I've been very reasonable. You hear all the excuses, and I get really reasonable, and you kind of get beat into submission by your employees at times, and I'm a lot less reasonable today. And it's I don't accept the unacceptable, and it's either honest and ethical or it's not.
Right.
And it's you're either putting in your all as a team member and you're a part of the team, or you're not. And sometimes before in the past, I've been like, hostage to an employee, like, oh my God, if I lose that programmer, we've only got 2 of them and we have to. That would be something I would do differently. And, again, I could only tell people, and I know it's the age-old adage, but education is the one thing that nobody can take from you.
Right, for sure. If you could go back and let's just say your early 20s, what advice, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your early 20s self?
Knock it off. I'll tell you something. I'm not a guy that lives with much regret. I look at every experience that I've gone through in my life, and many very challenging ones, many difficult ones. I definitely wasn't a guy that had a silver spoon handed to me. Quite the contrary. I came from a good family, hardworking, and taught me work ethic that I can appreciate. But we were definitely we weren't the Rockefellers. So we were probably middle class at best, and 30 miles south of Buffalo, and probably anywhere else we'd have been a pretty small fish in the pond. But my parents did instill a great work ethic in my sister and I. But I tell you, looking back now, I probably would learned a little faster from my mistakes. Sometimes I needed to make that same mistake 2 and 3 and 4 times, and it's I'm proud of the man in the mirror today.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes it's us going through this the journey that we had that led us to where we are. A lot of times, had it not played out the way it did, or we hadn't made the decisions that we did, we wouldn't end up being where we are, or have maybe the experience or the wisdom. I mean, we still have so much more to learn and grow from, but we wouldn't be where we are.
For sure, and I'll tell you, I mean, probably one of the greatest things I've ever done is my son and being a parent, and the impact that you have on that child's life, and to make a difference. And I've said this to many people. The greatest thing I ever did for my son at 16 years old. At about 12, I had to go back to when he was about 12 years old, I actually took him to the Good Samaritan over on Florida Avenue. And every Saturday, we'd feed the homeless. And, giving him that spirit to be able to give back was so vitally important to me. And then at 16, I took him on a mission trip to Haiti. And I never need to say a word as a dad. When anybody, any individual, an employee, a child, they hear the same, voice over, sometimes it can fall on deaf ears. And I didn't need to say a word, to see the reaction. It was just shortly after that major earthquake down there that devastated that region. And To this day, we still have ties. To this day, one of the individuals that was actually our interpreter down there, a gentleman by the name of Nicholas Victorin, is actually now the mayor of Pinion, Haiti. And we've started a water project. So the proceeds from Hive, we've literally sponsored, doing a radio station down there to get the word out. We're actually building wells, and we just purchased land down there to grow food and to be able to help and then educate the kids. But we realized we couldn't educate the children that were there hungry. So had to back up a few steps to make sure that we had the food and the water. So
I was just going to ask, what might people be surprised to know about you? But that would definitely be one of them.
Yeah. That's probably, I mean,
that's amazing.
That's my favorite labor is to I've been around this beautiful planet. I've gone on a lot of vacations. I've stayed in beautiful hotels. I drive nice cars, but by far my absolute favorite labor of love is to go give back.
Yeah, I think that's great. And thankfully you do, and we serve you, serving a purpose, within life, and you're helping so many other people. So that's great. And thank you for doing what you do.
Well, very welcome.
You talked about education, so I was going to ask about a favorite book or resources that you learn from, but you'd mentioned the program that you and your team take part in.
Yes, we just recently had done it, and it's been a culmination of so many. I mean, I read a book called Problems of Work by L. Ron Hubbard. I've read a wonderful book that I just got done reading, Sell or Be Sold. There's one, The 10X Rule. This is just what I happen to be on right now, but too numerous to count. But to me, it's the investment in myself. That's all my point is, and it's not the right school, and it's got to be Ivy League this or that, and I'm definitely not a product of that. I'm truly a product of, I'm a high school graduate. I have attended many schools.
I mean, and I think, like I said, we could have one biggest takeaway from the show. I think it's it's about that looking in the mirror and working on what you see in the mirror instead of trying to change everything around you. So. Very cool. No, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing your story. I know we could sit here and talk a lot longer just about life and philosophy, but thank you so much. So we'll see you next time on Getting the Edge. In the meantime, check out edgebusinessmagazine.com, and until then, never stop dreaming. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.